Imagine this. You wake up, you check your banking app, and suddenly that just a few purchases credit card now costs more than a month's rent. You don't even remember making any big decisions, you just remember tapping your phone. A weekend trip here, a delivery order there, a little upgrade to your streaming plan. And you start wondering, is the real problem how much you owe, or what that debt is actually doing to your life? In this episode, we're going to slow that down and make it really clear. Because to get control of your money, you first need a clear picture of what you owe, not just the total number, but the details that tell you how dangerous each debt really is. So let's walk through this together. First step, make what I'll call a simple debt map. Nothing fancy, just a list. Grab a notebook or open a notes app and write down every balance you owe. For example, it might look like this: $7,200 on a credit card at 24% APR, $18,000 car loan at 7%, $42,000 student loan at 5.5%, $230 store buy now, pay later plan at 0% for now. Now for each of these, you're going to note 4 things. This is important, so I'll go one by one. First, the current balance. How much you still owe today. Second, the interest rate. That's the cost of borrowing, 24% APR, 7%, 5.5%, whatever it is. Third, the minimum payment, the smallest amount the lender will accept each month. And fourth, when it will be fully paid off if you only ever pay that minimum. If you've never checked that last one before, it can be a little shocking. A $7,200 card with a $170 minimum payment might stretch out more than 20 years. 20 years. That $230 promo loan from the store. It might jump to 25% APR if you're late even once, or if you don't pay it off by a certain date. When you see all of these side by side, it gets real. You'll start to notice which debts are quietly draining you the fastest, and which ones give you a little more room to breathe. Let that sink in for a second. Now, once you've got that basic map, we're going to add another layer. Ask yourself, how does each debt actually touch your monthly life? Add 2 more simple columns to your debt map. The first new column is tied to essentials. Is this debt connected to something you absolutely need to function, like housing, basic transportation, or health? Or is it more of a nice to have? The second new column is flexible or fixed. Some payments barely move. A $950 rent payment, for example, often can't change overnight. But a $310 car loan, that might be refinanced down to $240 if your credit and situation allow it. A $60 phone bill, maybe that could drop to $40 with a smaller data plan. That $20 you free up every month could go straight toward faster debt payoff. Maybe you've got a $1,200 furniture loan at $55 a month. It feels harmless, just a background payment. But when you see it on your map, you realize it's delaying you from being debt-free by 6 extra months. Here's the key point. Your goal is to identify which payments you can shrink, stretch, or reschedule, without risking your basics. Things like housing, food, and health stay protected. Once your debt map is clear, we're going to zoom in one more time. Now the question becomes, what is each loan actually doing in your life? Is it helping you build something, or is it just dragging you back? So add one more column to your list. Purpose of this debt. And here's where you want to be specific, not vague. Don't just write credit card. Instead, write something like vacation plus takeout, or car repairs, or moving costs. Because a $7,200 balance feels very different if $5,000 of it was emergency dental work, versus 3 years of online shopping and late-night impulse buys. Once you've written down the purpose of each debt, you're going to sort your list into two buckets. Bucket 1. Building you debt. You can also think of this as productive debt. These are the debts that are tied to assets or opportunities that can realistically improve your finances over time. That might look like a $42,000 student loan at 5.5% that funded a degree and boosted your income by $12,000 a year. An $18,000 car loan at 7% that pays for the only reliable way to get to your $55,000 a year job. A $210 per month business loan that lets you earn an extra $400 to $600 per month in side income. These debts still need managing. They're not good in a moral sense, but they are at least pulling their weight. They help create more income, more opportunity, or a necessary foundation for your life. Bucket 2. Draining you debt. This is consumptive debt. These are the debts that don't build anything lasting. When they're gone, there's nothing left but the memory. That might be $1,450 left from a vacation that's now costing you $32 a month in interest. $930 of clothing and gadgets sitting on a card at 24%. A $230 0% furniture promo that will jump to 25% if that $230 isn't fully paid by December 14th. When you see these, put a star next to every draining you debt. Those starred debts are your prime targets for faster payoff. Because when they're gone, your monthly money instantly improves without sacrificing future opportunity. You're not just feeling less guilty, you're literally buying back your own cash flow. Now let's put some numbers to that. Ask, how much does each dollar of payment free up in my future budget? Here's a simple example. Say you've got a $55 per month furniture loan with 10 months left. That's $550 total. If you clear it in 2 months instead of 10, you're paying an extra $110 over those 2 months to wipe it out. But in return, you free up $55 a month for the next 8 months. That's $440 of breathing room this year. Now imagine you repeat that with a couple of other small draining you debts. If you can free up, say, $150 a month by wiping out 2 or 3 little balances, that $150 can then be redirected. You can point it straight at the bigger debts that really matter long term. This is how momentum starts. Next, give every major debt in your life a 1-sentence role. Literally write a short job description for each one. For example, this car loan gets me to work. I'll keep it but aim to refinance. This credit card balance is just past spending. I'll attack it first. This student loan opened the door to higher pay work. I'll pay it on schedule while I fix everything else. When you do this, you're not just listing balances anymore. You're deciding what stays, what shrinks, and what needs to disappear soon. Here's another way to picture it. Think of each debt as a roommate living in the house of your budget. Some roommates help with the rent. Others eat your food, hog your Wi-Fi, and never pay you back. Your student loan that costs $260 a month but helped you land a job that pays $1,000 more every month. That's the reliable roommate. You might not love them, but they cover more than their share. They earn their spot. Now compare that to your 24% credit card with a $3,800 balance and a $120 minimum. That card is the friend who just needs the couch for a week and is somehow still there 2 years later, using your Netflix, leaving the lights on, and adding to your bills. Every month you let that balance stay, it quietly tacks on another $60 to $80 in interest. So here's what you do next. Give each of these roommates a move-out date. Write it down simply and clearly. For example, store card, gone in 3 months at $90 a month. High-rate card, cleared in 14 months at $300 a month. Car loan, refinanced within 60 days, then paid on schedule. When you treat draining debts like bad roommates with deadlines, it becomes a lot easier to say no to new ones and to protect space for the debts that actually earn their keep. As you start acting on this, take a moment to preview your future budget. On paper or on screen, list what disappears as each debt ends. For example, when this $120 card is gone in 8 months, I redirect all $120 to the next target. Then keep going. When that one is gone, I move that payment to the next. Project 12 to 24 months into the future. You might find that, just by following this chain, you could free up $400 to $700 a month, without earning a single extra dollar. Then, don't leave that future money homeless. Assign those future dollars a job now. You might decide $200 goes to savings, $150 goes to investing, $100 goes to fun or experiences you truly value. The amounts are up to you. The important part is the mindset. Treat every payment you reclaim as permanent progress, not new spending room to fill back up with more debt. Now let's lock this in with one small, trackable habit. For the next 30 days, pick a fixed amount, maybe it's $40 every Friday, and send it straight to your top target debt. That's $160 this month. If you keep that habit for a year, that's $1,920 toward your highest impact balance. Without a raise, without a side hustle, just from a simple weekly move. Put a reminder in your calendar, make it automatic if you can, and then watch the balance shrink over time. When that debt is gone, don't stop the habit. Keep the $40 rhythm and redirect it to the next goal. That's how you turn a short-term push into long-term change. So, let's pull this together and turn it into action. Here's what we covered today and what you can do with it. First, you learned how to make a debt map. Not just a list of what you owe, but a clear picture that includes balances, interest rates, minimum payments, and how long each one will drag on if you only pay the minimum. Second, you separated your debts into 2 clear groups: the ones that help you build your life and income, and the ones that just drain you with nothing to show for it. You saw that some debts are like helpful roommates, and others are like freeloaders camped out on your couch. Third, you started giving every debt a role and a deadline. You wrote one-sentence job descriptions, and you set realistic move-out dates for the debts that don't deserve to stay. Fourth, you previewed your future budget. You saw how knocking out just a few key balances could free up hundreds of dollars a month, and how powerful it is to give those future dollars a job, saving, investing, or meaningful fun, before they arrive. And finally, you built a tiny, repeatable habit, like sending $40 every Friday to your top target, so this doesn't stay just interesting information. It becomes real progress. Now, here's your simple action plan for this week. 1. Take a few minutes to write down the key information from this episode about your debts, what you owe, the interest rates, and what each one is doing in your life. Getting it out of your head and onto paper makes it real. 2. Look at that list and pick one specific area where this knowledge hits home for you right now. Maybe it's a small, draining you debt. Maybe it's a high-rate card. Maybe it's a payment you could shrink. 3. Take one small action this week to apply what you learned. That might be making an extra $20 payment, calling to ask about refinancing, or setting up that $40 a week transfer. If you do just those 3 things, you've turned this episode from background noise into real change in your financial life. You don't have to fix everything today. You just need to understand what you owe, decide which debts stay and which ones go, and then take the next small, clear step. You're in charge of who gets to live in your financial house. And starting now, you get to choose which debts are worth the rent.